Phantomaniacs, welcome to the Duelist Unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we are taking a look at Cobra-La Pythona, the New York Comic Con exclusive, available to Pulse Premium members on Friday the 10th, 11th, whatever it was, and available to everybody on November the 3rd, and I believe still in stock for Pulse Premium members. So this was a $46.99 figure, I think it was, or was it $42.99? Anyway, it was way more expensive than I expected it to be. And the box certainly has not gotten the same treatment that other exclusives like this have gotten. If you remember the Once a Man Cobra Commander, the Serpentor, who else? We've gotten a little fancier boxes. This one is just, I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong. I like that color treatment on it, whatever that sort of spectrum holographic, I'm sure there's a term for it that a comic book collector would know. Looks awesome, but again, it's just a box with a fancy treatment. But the figure is what's important here. And I'm pretty excited about the figure. I mean, Pythona is, as we've talked about on Audible Interlude time and time again, Pythona is probably one of the most requested characters in G.I. Joe. Regardless of how people feel about Cobra-La, Pythona seems to be a favorite. And from the beginning of Classified, I think is a name that people have been talking about. So awesome to finally see this character. And I have not gotten around to Super 7's Reaction Plus Pythona yet, because there's so much stuff coming this month. Well, already here. I've got a pile you wouldn't believe of stuff that I need to get reviewed. And I'll get around to all of it eventually. So we've got a little background here that's different from anything else we've gotten in sort of the standard box. Just a strange Cobra-La looking background. Might be good for a thumbnail, we'll see. Although I might want something that contrasts her colors a little bit more. Lots of accessories in here. I don't know that I feel like it's enough to qualify as a figure and a pet. But, you know, Hasbro is going to price how Hasbro is going to price. Got two different top knots, which I appreciate, and they're swappable between the heads, so that's a good thing. And I don't know which head I'm going to display, because this one is so good. But the neutral head, the default head, it does kind of represent the character a little more how we know her to be. So Cobra-La, like I said, a little divisive. Not everybody's a fan. I went through a phase where I didn't like it, and it was a phase where I was kind of being judgy about a lot of things without really thinking about it too much, which I think a lot of people have a tendency to do. Like, they'll hear something and just start parroting it because they think it sounds cool without actually thinking about what they're saying. And that's definitely what I was doing with the Cobra-La. Like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense in G.I. Joe. And not thinking about the fact that it's not any stranger than anything else we saw in Sunbow. And as to how it affects Cobra's origins, whatever. Certainly not out of line for Sunbow. Now, if you don't want it in your personal mythology, that's understandable. Man, what's the height here? She seems small. Yeah, I would have liked her to be taller. And that's not based off of anything I perceived from the cartoon or whatever. I just think it would have been a good opportunity to finally deliver a larger size. And I'm not saying she needs to be, giant and muscle bound, but I think just taller, because all of the classified females are so petite. Like, I'd really like to see some variety there. But sculpt wise, just absolutely fantastic. All new stuff. Don't see where any of it could really be reused for anything. So, and look, that's part of the reason for the price point, I think. This cape is absolutely fantastic. Take a look at the texture on this. Very similar to Serpentor's. His was scales, and these are more sort of nodules or bumps or whatever. But just that texture is fantastic. And then with the purple on the inside, and then this sort of organic cut out of the bottom. I'm trying to think of a term for, it's like a die cut. Again, going back to comic book terminology, it's like a die cut. But I'm sure there's a better name for it when you're dealing with fabrics or soft goods. All right, let's pop that cape off so we can get a better look at everything. The portrait, this one, just due to how she was packaged, the earrings, that right earring is a little mashed up, but I'm sure I can heat that up, no problem. But this is absolutely you got a little purple speck right here. I'll probably be, well, you know what? We've got some speckling on her face as well. Huh. And this is another one of those instances where I can barely see it with my naked eye, but then when you get up close with the camera, it becomes very apparent. All this speckling right here on the face. But as far as the portrait goes, this is Pythona. This is exactly what this character should look like. They've done a great job of bringing this look into classified. The top knot moves all the way around, as you saw, pops out very easily. Her skin tone is great. I like how pale she is. And then the makeup or face paint or tattoos or whatever that is, it really looks great. The tampo is replaced very well. Everything's nice and even. I like the metallic color of the earrings. It's like a metallic green. And then her bodysuit with all of that sculpted detail is just crazy. Not just painted on, all sculpted. Plastic feels good. Joints are all moving nicely. And again, what else do they do with this? This is the only use they're going to get out of this figure, unless they do like, I wouldn't hate a darker repaint or a brighter repaint. Not for the same price. It doesn't even come with all the accessories or anything. But, we always talk about the retro card back possibilities. And just this figure with a brighter or darker paint scheme. Like, I'm picturing like black with purple. Or just brighter to look more like the Sunbow. Which this isn't far off of at all. But they could get a brighter paint job out of it as well. I wouldn't be mad at either of those things. Somebody had a lot of fun doing the design on this one. This is just fantastic. And then there is the cape with the hood. And probably going to have to pop the top knot off. look at that. That works pretty well. Like when you're doing posing or whatever for toy photography, obviously you're going to have to keep readjusting this to keep the cutout in the same spot, the correct spot. A wire would have been helpful here, but, you know, they didn't do that. It would have been nice in the rest of the cape as well. But that's pretty awesome. That's killer. But I think I'm just going to do hood down whenever I decide how to pose her. So let's see what else we've got here. We've got the alternate portrait, which is the one I'm completely enamored with. Well, and this one also has some like speckling of paint. Is that maybe how it's supposed to look? I'm gonna have to check around with some other folks and see what theirs look like. I love the fangs with the green on them, like suggesting maybe poison or something. This is very reminiscent to me of like Lair of the White Worm, which is appropriate, like Lovecraftian weirdness. It's going to be hard for me not to display this one, but I like the other portrait so much. And then the alternate top knot is just... Oh, wait, this is the one that came on it. This one's just shorter. Oh, maybe this one goes under the hood. No, I don't think that's going to fit. Let's see. No. All right, so that plugs in there. I'm just curious to see if this works. And if maybe it keeps the... Okay. I think maybe that is supposed to go in there because that is going to keep that tighter on her face and more where it's supposed to be. So I think that actually is how that's supposed to work. And potentially even... No, it's not going to go in there. But yeah, okay. So maybe that's the point of that. All right. We've got two sort of two-headed snake disc weapons. Got a little more paint slop over here on the, I guess, energy portion of this. Got two little black specks on there that are not great, I'll be honest. Got some QC issues on this figure, it seems like. But those are very cool pieces. We've got the gem of a size that answers all questions. Nice translucent, really, really glossy too. And it captures light really well. Like if you look at this thing, it almost looks like it's glowing just from the light that I've got here in the studio or the workshop. That's a great looking piece. They did a nice job on that. This little monstrosity that will attach to somebody's face. We've got, let's see, I think yeah, that's pretty cool. So these two tendrils are ball jointed. So this gets thrown at somebody and you just wrap that around their head like so. That's pretty awesome. Could probably also, yeah, either way, that might even actually be a little better. Horrifying. You can see all the teeth and whatnot sculpted in there. That's going to ruin your day. Fantastic work on that little monster. And then the four-headed eel thing that also gets thrown. And again, just tremendous detail. Look at the little eyes painted on that. Their mouths, their teeth. Really nicely done. Again, somebody had a lot of fun designing this stuff. Just the eely texture of this piece is so creepy. And then this, which was, what is this? The prison key, is that right? Or is it not? No, I don't think it is. I think this is just some other creepy crawly. It might be the key. But again, horrifying shell creature thing, little beak. And then the tape dispenser, as I always thought of it. These are a softer plastic. Everything about Cobra-La really is just a nightmare. And then the little clam deal that is, am I right in thinking this is like a little command, like remote control for the clam that they put Cobra Commander in? Or is this just something else entirely? I haven't watched the movie in maybe since we reviewed it on the Needless Things podcast. And there's so many grotesque little things, I can't remember which ones are which. The smoke from when she uses her acid claws, and then the acid from said acid claws. And then a couple of fists for punching. So I gotta use the crazy portrait. It's just so good. There we go. Took a little extra to pop that into place. And we're going to put the long top knot on there. I don't understand trigger finger hands really at all. And I don't know how she's supposed to engage with any of this stuff she came with. Like, the fists don't really make sense. There should have been like open grasping hands, because what do we do with this now? She can't hold this. She can't hold this at all. Like, there is no hand to hold this thing. This we can probably sort of fake out or stretch the hand out and get it on there. Yeah, so you can make that work. And that can work. Same thing with this. I mean, you can kind of hold it by the tail if you want to. Although chances are, if you're doing any photography or play with this, it's going to be on the face of the thing that it's being thrown at. But yeah, the hands don't make any sense to me. The fists make no sense because she's not really a puncher. These make sense just for the effects that we saw in the movie. But really, she needs like open claw grasping hands more so than anything else. So the figure gets an A for design. Like, design-wise, it's great. Concept-wise, everything that came with it, except for the hands, like all the accessories make sense. But execution-wise, I don't know. I'm going to check with Christian and some other folks who have their Pythonas and see if they've got that same spatter on the face. And it's great. The price was a little high, and I just don't understand the fists. especially since, I mean, it's not like they were able to reuse fists. They had to do newly tooled operations here. So why not do something that could engage with these accessories in a more meaningful way? So it's awesome. And I'm going to find, with what's in front of me here, I'm going to find a great way to pose it on the shelf. But I think they could have done better. There are a couple of things that kind of baffle me, like this hand without the smoke would have been a nice thing to have. So a couple of decisions I don't agree with, but overall, great figure. Glad to have it in the line. And like I said, I will figure out a great way to pose it, to display it on the shelf. But it could have been executed a little better, I think. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. And until next time, buy what you like.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.